Hi, my name is Jim Keegan. I'm a STEM teacher here at Sandy Mountain Elementary School, and I want to show you the area model for solving for division. Basically what the area model is going to demand of the students at first is to decompose the number that they're going to be dividing. And in this particular case, we have 738 divided by 6. What we're going to do is we're going to take 738 and decompose it into its hundreds, tens, and ones. Now at first, many of the students will be utilizing models. In this particular case, we're using place value models, where they will demonstrate 7 100s, 3 10s, 8 ones. Now what the students now need to think about is what are they going to divide it by. So we're looking to see how many groups we're dividing 738 into. And in this particular case, we're looking to equally share amongst 6 different groups. So what the students will do at this point is they're going to take a look at the number 700. We want them to analyze the values of the numbers. It's not just a 7, it's 700. So what they're going to look at first is the 700. Then they're going to equally share in the 6 groups. So they're going to take the hundreds and they're going to place them in there. What they're going to find is that they could place 1 100 in each of the groups. They're going to have 1 100 left over. But what we're going to first look at is how many did they put in each group? And in this case, there's 100. That becomes our quotient. At this point, now what happens is we're going to analyze how many of the hundreds did we now take out of the original 700? Well, they took out 600 of them. At that point, they realize they have 100 left. Now they can't take this 100 and split it into 6 equal parts. So now the students have to figure out how they can decompose this and now create something that they can work with in 6 groups. Now the students now are going to be able to take this 1 100 and regroup it for 10 tens. So what ends up happening is they're going to produce 13 tens for a total of 130. When the students do that through the written, what they're going to do is now they're going to show that they took the 100, they broke it into 10 tens, because we have 3 tens here, and that's going to be equivalent to 130. Now what the students will do is they're going to look to see how can they create equal groups or equal shares of these 13 tens. Well, in the end, many of the students will be able to figure out that 2 tens will go in each. And as they work through the manipulatives, they're going to be repeatedly subtracting, reinforcing the fact that division is repeated subtraction. And in the end, what they're going to find out is that they put 2 tens in each. Well, that again becomes our quotient. Now what we figured out is that 2 tens is equivalent to 20. Now they have a remainder of 1 10, but we also want them to continue to look at, well, how many tens did you end up using? Well, they ended up using 12 in total. That is a total of 120. We're going to subtract that from the total amount of 130, and we end up having 10 as a remainder. Now the students again look at this and they say, well, I can't split 110 into the 6 equal groups. So now what I want to do is I want to regroup this again, and I want to take that and make 10 ones. And what they're going to do at this point in time is take the 10 ones that they now have, they're going to add that to the ones. Now they had 8 ones originally, now they have 10 ones, they add that to it, it ends up becoming 18 ones in total. Now the students will work through the ones to create equal shares within the groups. They'll eventually get to the point where they know that there's going to be 3 in each group utilizing their multiplication facts. But for some, they might need to work this out using the manipulatives. And in the end, when they get the answer in the quotient, they will now have 3 as the quotient. In the end, they're going to look to see how many of the ones did they utilize. Well, they used 18 of them, and in the end, we had 0 left over. This, at this point in time, gives us the answer, because all they're going to do is they're going to take the quotient up above, add the numbers that they were able to get, and the total ends up becoming 123. And they have that represented within this. Where we're going to go with this is to take a look at the standard version, which we normally were instructed at this point, and take a look at how this ends up working. Well, as we did this in our normal way, in the normal progression of things, everybody kept on saying, well, how many 6s can you take out of 7? There's no value in that. But what ends up happening, it's the same. you took one 100 out of the 700s. You end up getting one left over. Well, just like we had over here. And then we always were told bring down the 3. Well, the reason why we brought down the 3 is because now we had 13 tens. That ended up becoming 2 tens. We subtracted that from there. We get the remainder of 1 of the 10s, which then we brought down the 8 to make 18 ones, which we had done here. And then at that point in time, we realized, well, there were 3, and we had a remainder of 0, as we do here. Both of them tie hand in hand. This gets down to the values of the numbers. And utilizing the place value blocks, the students get a sense of why these numbers go where they do and why you're manipulating the numbers the way that they're supposed to. So, in the end, the area model does allow the students to progressively get to this, but they're also taking a look at the values of the numbers and really understanding how equal shares fit into the area model. If you'd like to try this at home, this is a great idea. We'll be working with this within the curriculum. Thank you.